Hello YouTube, Jason from Renegade Rants Comics. And today I came up with some Comic-Con tips and tricks that I've learned from some of my previous failures of going to cons, and this might be a good prep on how to prepare for your next con. First thing I'm going to recommend is a backpack or a messenger bag. You're going to want to have something that you can carry your books to get signed or any pickups you get throughout the day. You may want to bring empty bags and boards for anything you picked up. I am usually a 50-cent or dollar bin diver, and most of those aren't bagged and boarded. And they may not be in the best shape to begin with for your run filler, but if you pick something up and you got some extra bags and boards, you can kind of slap some of the better books that you might pick up in. Um, or you may run into somebody that's in line, and it's a good idea that, hey, you know, oh, you don't have a bag and board for that? Here you go, buddy. And it's a good way to meet people. I would also check with the venue ahead of time. Usually you can get on their website and see what's allowed to be brought in. Some people prefer a messenger bag. Some people like the comic book protector, boxes, even if you are having them in a book bag or a messenger bag. But I also usually bring in like a soda bottle and or a water bottle that I have in the side of the bag. Most of the water fountains have the ability to fill up a water bottle or, one of the cooler cups or whatever. And then I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I like to have some snacks with me just in case the line's super long and I'm feeling a dropout coming. I have not seen any issues with security. Some people probably may have issues where they won't allow you to bring outside food or drink in, so that's just something that you want to check out on the website. I'm going to try this year. So every year I've gone to Terrificon, and this would be the third or fourth year, is I end up getting a stack of comics that I don't really want to keep in the book bag because now it's kind of getting weighted down. And then I'm leaving them back at the room or wherever I'm staying, and they're just kind of flung, stacked up, not in anything to kind of protect them. And I actually found these on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. It's a collapsible short box. It holds about 100 comics. It's got a divider in it, and you can collapse it down. And then when you get back to the car or the room, you could actually unload the bag, your book bag or your messenger bag, and you can actually throw them in just to kind of have them in a more secure storage area. It is a collapsible storage option, so it takes less space initially on the trip. If you're flying, I don't know about checking it after the fact kind of thing because it's just got a little Velcro enclosure, so I don't know what's best for some people, but it's just something I'm going to take because we're driving, and I'll be able to kind of just fill it up, put my stuff in, then I know it's not going to get damaged. Comfortable shoes would be the next thing I'm going to say. There's going to be a lot of walking, either from the parking lot to the venue, around the venue to the panels or the other related areas, and it might not hurt to bring a couple extra pairs to switch on different days. First year I went, I left my wonderful comic list sitting right on my desk. So whether you're old school with a notebook and pencil, you're an Excel spreadsheet master, I recommend Key Collector. Again, not endorsed by them, but it takes a while to kind of add your books in, but it gives you the picture of what issue you're looking for your wish list. And that's on the free version. There's a $1.99 version, I think, that you can actually get that will actually give you a little bit more for a subscription-based thing as far as pickups. But the nice thing with that is it tells you the going rate on eBay, so you know if you're actually getting a deal. There are other online collecting apps that people use. I'm not familiar with them. This is one that I use. But make sure you have an idea of what you're looking for to avoid buying the same book multiple times. I literally, in the same day, I had picked up a book. I went to a different vendor. I saw that book. And without having a list or something to say, hey, did I already get that? I bought it again. And we're not talking a lot of money, but I have about 7 issues of a 35-cent book sitting in my collection right now because I kept buying it over and over again, paying $1 or $2 or 50 cents. And the one thing I will say is make sure you're updating your list. If you have the spreadsheet and you printed it out, or you bring your tablet or your computer, your notebook, cross off if you bought it. Key collector, it's kind of it's a little more expensive on like the apps to kind of go in and add it to your collection, but trust me, you're going to want to take a break at some point, so maybe sit down somewhere and update your list while you're sitting there. Even if you're in line waiting for a signature, maybe that's where you do that. So that's just something to bear in mind. But a comic book list of what you need, what you're looking for, what you're searching for is a really good idea. The next one I'm going to say would be phone or battery packs or charging cables. One, don't leave without your phone because that's kind of going to be your lifeline. And since I've started the channel, I'm now going to probably look at getting a couple battery packs because I hope to record some videos. Maybe if some people are willing to let me interview them, kind of thing, which, I don't have a media pass, so I don't know how that works. But it's one of those things that just make sure you have battery packed or even a charging cable with you. At Terrificon, I know there are wall outlets going into the venue, so I've seen people kind of plug in charging there when they're taking a break kind of thing, but I think a battery pack would probably be a little more convenient so that you're not stuck to the wall because your phone's half dead. So, cash. Cash is king. One, it'll help you stay on budget. I have seen too many people that see a book, pull out the credit card, and don't even think about it. And then sometimes, because they're having FOMO, they're buying it. And one, it may not have been the best deal they could have found on that. Two, they find a better deal 2 vendors down. And three, you probably could negotiate if you have cash in hand versus you're pulling out the credit card. And I know that that might be an issue somewhere, so that's just something to bear in mind. It'll also help you with the deals. I literally have had 20 books in my hand from either a 50-cent bin or dollar bin, and the guy's like, "Hey, give me 15 bucks," if they ran out of the dollar bin. And without having the cash, like, trying to pull out the card, all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, no, no, no. If you got the card, I've got to charge you the full price." So it's just a good idea to come with some cash so you can make those deals, kind of thing. Comic prep for signatures. If you're going to have books signed, make sure you put them in non-tape bags and boards. I, from experience, have ripped the cover trying to get a book out after I've been waiting in line. And there's nothing more annoying than when you hear that rip or you see the color damage you've done when the tape is stuck. I've seen other people, and I don't know if I'm necessarily going to do this because I don't care where they sign it. It's wherever they want to sign it. But they will actually take an empty bag and board and actually put painter's tape around the area and then use an X-Acto knife or some kind of knife to cut a hole out where they want the signature. And then they put the comic book in it so that when they're getting ready to sign, it doesn't even have to get pulled out of the bag and board. It can just be signed there. And I've actually looked at other creators' content, and they're actually saying carry Sharpies, extra Sharpies, or colors that you want, or paint markers that you want, because it wouldn't hurt to ask, because most times they'll sign it whatever color you want. They may have the colors. Some of the artists or the writers may not want to touch your pens and pencils kind of thing. So, but if they have a specific color, or if you have a black cover and you want it in silver, if you've got the silver paint marker right there or silver Sharpie right there, it might be easier for them to be like, "Yeah, I'll sign it in silver, no problem." So it doesn't hurt to ask. Worst comes to worst, they're going to say no. And then the final thing is to have fun. And this coming from me, most of my friends will tell you I get stressed over the smallest things, but it can be a great experience to meet people, especially when you're waiting in line. And you shouldn't stress the small stuff. You want to look around and enjoy the experience. You've got cosplayers, you've got actors, writers, artists that are sitting around you. Some of these people may not be at the next convention, or they may not even be around with us next year. So I was super excited about getting Garth Ennis's signature. I love his Punisher run. Punisher is one of my characters. His Punisher, Ghost Rider. Well, Ghost Rider 1. Then it would be Punisher. Then it is the Frank Castle Punisher. And then it is Wolverine. Those are my characters that I predominantly collect. I like Batman. I like, a bunch of the DC guys too. But for my collection, that is predominantly what I collect. And sitting behind me when I was waiting in line for Garth Ennis was Kevin Conroy. And literally, I saw the price on how much it would cost to have something, and it was not in my budget because I had budgeted out to have Garth Ennis's signature and Howard Mackey's signature and a couple of the other ones. And I didn't have the money in it to get it. And he was on the venue list, and I saw him ahead of time, but I couldn't pull the trigger on it. But as I was standing in line, his line had kind of died where he kind of almost had nobody. And I was looking over in line, and then I kind of just waved to him, and he waved back to me and he said hi. From across, we were probably maybe 15, 20 feet away. It may have been a little bit longer, but like it was, I said hi, he said hi, we both heard each other. And the following year, I regret not having that signature or, picture opportunity with him because he passed away. So it's one of those things that, if you see somebody that you want, maybe don't get the signature from somebody and get the signature from somebody else, or make a memory. Like that's a memory that'll live with me. Yes, I don't have a signature and I don't have a picture with him, but I will remember that until I pass away. So it's just something that is supposed to be fun. People can get super, I've seen some aggressive tactics where you almost get shoved out of the way when somebody's going through a long box. It's not that important to me. Like, I love looking through the boxes. I don't want to miss out on a super steal, but I'm not going to shove somebody out of the way. If there's a kid that wants to get into that box and he ends up grabbing the comic that I wanted, but it's going to have the kid's going to start reading the comic or starts reading comics because of that comic book, hey, that's what the community is supposed to be about, right? It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a nice hobby kind of thing. So it's just one of those that if you see me at Terrificon in about a month and you actually watch the channel, and you want to stop and say hi, hey, I would love to sit there and talk to anybody that watches the channel. I would love to talk to I'm hoping to meet some of the content creators that kind of spurred me to do this channel, and maybe I can have a couple minute conversation with them if we're waiting in the same line or if I, run into them kind of thing. But I think that we need to enjoy the actual experience versus stressing out about things that may not be going right, or whipping out the credit card and, worrying about the mortgage payment because you decided to pull the trigger on that book that you probably shouldn't have bought, kind of thing. So that's where I'm going to kind of leave it. But those are some of the tips and tricks I've found. Down in the comments below, what are some tricks you do when you go to a con? Kind of like to get some community engagement with this, and I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, but if you watch the video and you're not subscribed, I would love you to at least leave a comment down below. What are some of the things you do at your con? Do you have a specific way you go in, or is there a specific way you store your books after you pick them up, or is there something that, would revolutionize everybody's experience at the cons? That would be great. So if you wanted to clickety-click them down in the comments, that would be awesome. But I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope that your con experience is whatever you wish it to be.